Hi. Now this Sunday I talked about spiritual warfare, and I started off by saying it's quite hard to understand the reality of war if you've lived your whole life in a peaceful country. And in many ways that's the same with spiritual warfare. It can seem very abstract, nothing to do with me really, and quite frankly I prefer to keep the peace in my life. That can be our stance, and we can try and ignore it or push it to the side. But I suppose I believe that I am, as a good Christian, someone who can love his enemy at a push. But Paul is saying to us, well, hang on, no, there's a struggle. And our struggle is not with the flesh and blood, but with spiritual forces. So if that's the case, then we need to wake up to the fact that we're in a spiritual battle. Great. But why do we not believe that? Why do we not engage in that? I think sometimes we're naive to the enemy's tactics and his lies that hide the truth from us. Before you became a Christian, did you ignore any calls to face up to the facts that you need to make a choice for God? Or did you dismiss any invitations to go to a church service and hear about salvation? Well, perhaps we, at that point, were blinded to the truth. Our enemy's tactics and lies were weaving into our life and helping us to ignore the reality that we do need to confront this question. Do we believe in God? Are we there for Him? And if that's the case then, what about the case now? As a Christian, do I want to believe that we can just live a harmonious life and a loving experience and enjoy the heavenly blessings and invite everyone else to the party, obviously? But that's not seems to be the case. Paul talks about our struggle with spiritual enemies. And he talks about Jesus. Jesus is someone who prepares his followers for spiritual conflict and the storms ahead. So let's not be naive. Let's challenge ourselves to work out what we need to do. And one of the things that Paul talks about is the fact that we need to be following the commander. We need to be obeying his instructions. But the big question is, how well do we know our commander? How well do we know Christ our Lord? How do we get to know him better, deeper? Well, we certainly need to talk to him every day. We need to read and study his word. But we also need to worship him, put him on the throne of our hearts. So he's in charge of what the decisions we make and the way we see the world. Well, he does equip us with these spiritual weapons, though, these spiritual armour of God. Okay, so we've got some equipment we can use, but how do we use it? What's it there for? And that's what we're going to be studying today. We're going to be looking at what this armour of God is. Paul says, put on all of God's armour so that you may be able to stand firm against all strategies of the devil. Okay, so let's do that. Let's study. Let's learn together. Let's discuss the armour of God and see where it fits into our spiritual walk with him. And I pray that during this discussion that Christ would bind us together as his army and equip us for this fight ahead. God bless.